This is Snake. Can you hear me? Good. The mission is simple. Put your geek pants on and infiltrate Foxhound. If you need backup, contact Ken and Chris on their codec frequency. Ready? Snake out.
Actually, I don't need to see Stealth Spider suit on the poster. I don't need to see Nick Fury on the poster. I'm okay with Mysterio, but put the helmet on.
Right? I want the mask and helmets on. Like, why?
You know what I mean? Like,
that's the one thing I've never really cared for the MCU posters, and I guess kind of the movies at times is they don't wear their fucking costumes ever.
Well, I've always, like I've said before, like I get it because, like, in a comic book, you can emote more with a comic book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, even if they establish that, like, say Batman, for instance, even if they establish that this part is actually armored, the artist will still draw his eyes moving, like spider eyes or whatever. You know what I mean? And then this part will move based on his mouth, right? And you never think about it because that's how it's always been. But then when you watch the movies, like I remember even Batman Returns, at the end where he rips off the whole top piece. You know, and there's a half a second where they see the black makeup, because obviously that's the way the costume was made. And I remember even then I was kind of like, what? Why would he do that? But he was doing an emotive scene. He was saying, hey, Selena, like, let this piece of shit go and we'll live our lives or whatever, right? And then, and obviously she doesn't. And it was a great visual, but it was the first time that I was like, what? But you get older and you get it, right?
Yeah.
Although I will say, like, even like when we went through the Spider-Man movies, like the Raimi Spider-Man, and even with Homecoming, he actually, like, all of the Spider-Man movies in general, the mask comes off to a degree, but not as much as it is in the MCU. So even in Homecoming, it doesn't come off as much. Far From Home, I have a feeling it's going to be off a lot more.
Yeah.
But like even with Raimi's, where like there was the battle damage, so there were still parts of the mask, but you saw Peter Parker. So again, you were like, that's out of the comic books. Like that was really, really cool. But like, but Tony Stark, like, it's like he can't say any line unless you see him in the heads-up display version of his face or the mask's up. It's like he can never ever say anything with the mask down, right? You know, and I was just kind of like, oh.
Yeah, if you put together
I get it too,
minutes,
because they also don't. The secret identities aren't a big deal now, or as big a deal as they are in the comic books, to some degree. So I get that aspect too.
Yeah, they're not actually at all.
No, like almost nobody.
Everyone knows who the Avengers are, like their real identity.
Yeah, exactly. Like even though Spider-Man, they play it up in the movie that he doesn't want people to know his name, he still tells everybody. Sorry.
Everybody.
like I mean, even in the scene in Infinity War where he meets Doctor Strange and he's just like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. And the guy goes, Doctor Strange. He goes, oh, we're using our made-up names?
Yeah.
You know, and like, the argument could be made, well, this is a kid that grew up with the Avengers and idolizing them. So with them, he would feel comfortable enough to say, I'm Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, like, I get that, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I remember, it kind of reminds me of Ultimate Spider-Man, because, like, in the comic books, up until Ultimate Spider-Man, it was a big deal when a character found out Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And, like, they said it was a big deal. They would actually go, issue 767, somebody finds out Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Guess who? You know? And then it was like, then you play the game, well, do they die? Do they become a villain? What happens afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And yet in the Ultimate Spider-Man, I remember, like, towards the end of that run, or not even, towards the original Bendis Bagley run, where there was the Clone Saga.
Yeah.
And that closed out, just about closed out Bagley's run. And you're literally thinking about it, and you're going, well, fuck, like, Norman knows? Like, Norman Osborn knows. Dr. Octavius knows. Fucking Electro knows, Sandman knows, Kraven knows.
They all know.
You know what I mean? And you're like, all these guys know, or actually, no, they found out later. But, okay, so the two big guys, they know who he is because they created him, right? But then you got Nick Fury who knows, Harry Osborn knew because he found out, and the list gets high, like, more and more, and, like, Mary Jane knew right away, but then, you know, Aunt May knew later on, and I mean, it was a great issue when they talked about it, but Gwen knew. It was getting to be a point where it's like, do you really need the mask? Because everybody seems to know, and he keeps saying, like, I don't want anybody to know, and yet everybody knows. The X-Men knew because of Jean Grey and Professor X.
Yeah.
Like, everybody. I was like, holy fuck, could somebody not know? Like, it'd be more refreshing if somebody was just like, yeah, Peter Parker's a fucking loser. Like, he stinks, he smells like garbage all the time, he's always out of breath. Frankly, he's annoying, because he's also really smart. And he's hanging out with MJ, and she's super hot. And she smells amazing. He smells like he's, like, swinging in the skies for some reason. I don't understand it. Fuck, this school is weird. Hanging out with Kitty Pryde, who's an X-Men.
Yeah.
But then nobody makes connections, right? Like, it's just...
an X-Men, no big deal.
So, I mean, like, in the MCU, I really hope, like, in Far From Home, the two scenes where... oh, hey, guys. Massive spoilers, by the way, if you haven't watched any of the fucking 12 different cuts of the trailers that's out right now.
I stopped after the last one we talked about in the casting video. That's the last trailer I watched. I haven't watched it.
Casting video?
Yeah, our X-Men Task Force video.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about the last full trailer, I guess.
Yeah, so...
I haven't watched any of the
Okay, so the one I'm referencing is where MJ apparently knows it's Spider-Man, or Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, so that's it. That's in a fucking trailer. That's in a trailer. He's about to, I think he's about to ask her out on a date, like say, hey, look, I like you.
Yeah.
And then, like, he goes, hey, I just wanted you to know that, or something like that. And she's just like, that you're Spider-Man? It's blatantly obvious. And I'm like, I'm hoping that's a fake-out scene.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's Marvel.
Why would they put that in a trailer?
Sony's stupid, though, with their trailers. That's one thing I'll say about Sony. Is
Well, who's
dumb.
got the main pull on this? Is it Sony or Marvel? Like, who, with the trailers?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have no idea.
Like, I want to think that Marvel's got a pretty big say in the trailers.
Because, like, and I would enjoy that if that was the fake out. Because the other part was, there's a conversation between Stealth Suit Spider-Man, Ned, and MJ, and like Ned's kind of like, oh, you know? Oh yeah, I knew first though. Not that it's a competition, and that's played for laughs. But I'm still just kind of like, could that be a fake out, please?
Yeah.
Because
I don't. Yeah. No. I don't know.
And but I mean, I'm still super pumped for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for it. I mean, the trailers make it look really good.
They gotta stop showing shit now. Or else you don't even need to watch it. They're gonna fucking reveal everything.
Actually, well, no, because...
If they reveal in one of the trailers before the movie comes out that Mysterio's actually a villain, like...
No, but I still feel like... I think Marvel does have a big hand in the trailers. Or, at the very least, if anything, I'm hoping that Sony was paying attention to Infinity War and Endgame, because like we said, like in retrospect, you could have watched every single trailer of Infinity War and Endgame and still watched both movies and go, okay, you know, because there was like blatant misdirection, flat out lies, you know what I mean? Like they were like, Hulk's in this scene, and really it was Banner and the Hulkbuster scene, you know?
Yeah.
And other things where it's just like, looks like Tony's by himself. Nope, he's hanging out with Nebula. Things like that. So it's just, I'm hoping that's the route they took.
Hopefully.
You know, because I kind of think it would be interesting. It would be a little bit more interesting is if they really teased, or at least if the MJ thing happened at the end.
Yeah.
Like at the very end, like the scene where he's in the stealth suit talking with Ned and MJ. I hope that that's a fake out. Because at the very end, it could be like Spider-Man 2, where she goes, I think think I kind of always knew. That scene is one of my favorite like superhero out scenes because especially because we don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't get that scene where they go, "Oh my god, that's why you do all these things because you're Superman or whatever." It's just you
don't get it anymore.
No, you don't. You don't.
That's from the 2000s. That's
a
long gone
era. I mean, like, granted, like, X-Men didn't play that thing because they didn't have to.
Well, X-Men didn't have to.
All they did was
plus they were only interacting with themselves anyway, so...
Yeah.
Well, Daredevil did it on TV, I guess.
Well, yeah. Daredevil did it. Daredevil did it so good.
So I'll forever be pissed we're not getting a final season 4.
Yeah.
Forever be pissed.
I mean, to be fair, it should have been a 5-season run.
It probably would have been, except this whole Disney Netflix BS went on.
Because, like, I feel like season 4 and season 5 would have been really joined because it would have been basically like Daredevil versus Bullseye, and then it would lead into possibly Daredevil versus Elektra again, or maybe.
See, that's the thing. I'll never get to see Elektra again. That's a bummer to me.
It is a bummer, especially because, like, she ended up being a really good character.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, at the end of Defenders, by the end of Defenders, I was like, she's bang on. Like, she's right where
I really liked the Defenders. Not a lot of people did, but I liked it.
I liked it, too. Like, I thought it was really good.
I liked that they made it, only 7 episodes? That was perfect?
8.
Was it 8?
Yeah, it was 8.
But still, it was perfect. It was 5 episodes less than the usual run.
Yeah, exactly. It was really, really good because they immediately made Iron Fist better than he was in his own first season. And they made him important, not like he was like, I'm important because I'm Iron Fist. They were like, no, he's important because he's Iron Fist. The reason why is because he's the key to opening this door. You know, and I was like, that's awesome. But even like, I was also a sucker for the interactions between Matt and Jessica. I was like, man, this is great. Like, if he could pop in her season maybe once or twice, that would be awesome. Speaking of which, you know what? I've only watched 1 episode of Punisher Season 2, and I haven't watched anything else.
I haven't, honestly, watched any of the new seasons since the cancellations. I haven't felt a need to. Whereas before I was excited. I was like, yeah, let's see where this is going. Whereas now I know the story's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Where they possibly might end on cliffhangers, and I'll just be really angry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I actually didn't even watch the trailer for Jessica Jones, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. Although, to be fair, season 2 was not that good.
Season 2 was not good, especially when, it doesn't help that season 1 was that damn good.
That's part of it.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
Season 1 was friggin' phenomenal.
But, like, okay, so if we look at season 1 of Daredevil and season 1 of Jessica Jones, they were both phenomenal.
Yeah.
And for people, like, it really comes down to subjectivity, where, like, I thought Daredevil was better than Jessica Jones. Okay. Not by lots. It was very, very close, but I also don't dispute when people go, yeah, I thought Jessica Jones was better. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, alright, that's fine. And the only reason, I know this for a fact, the only reason why I'm edging out Daredevil is because I'm a Daredevil fan.
Yeah.
I was never an Alias fan. Jessica Jones as a character, like when she showed up in Bendis' run on Hardboiled. Was it Hardboiled that she showed up in?
Hardboiled.
For Daredevil.
Oh, for Daredevil. Yeah.
Was it Hardboiled?
I think it was that.
Or just in general. Oh, no, she also showed up in the Kingpin one,
all
too.
the street characters show up.
When he was the Kingpin. Or the Devil of Hell's Kitchen or whatever. But anyway.
See, I read Alias straight from the beginning.
Right, you were a big fan.
I loved it.
You were also, you were a Bendis kid.
Season 1 pretty much nails that first 18 issues.
Season 1 is amazing. Season 1 is so, like, it's so good.
Yeah, whereas Season 2, they weren't really building off of anything. It was all made up. Mumbo jumbo.
Which, it would have been fine if the execution was better. But, like, whereas...
well, Season 3 is supposed to introduce Hellcat. That's cool. Because they've been building up towards
They've been building up towards that, but... okay, so that's...
So that's cool.
Actually, I'm going to stop this right now, because this will be a Jessica Jones / Daredevil conversation. We still have to go through that.
Yes.
Okay, so...
So we're
rest in peace.
We're going to just...
Rest in peace.
Stop?
But
Okay.
I will end up. I'll end off with. I'm excited for Spider-Man Far From Home. I do kind of hope that they table how many people know that he's Peter Parker. Like, he should be less like, oh, you're hanging out with Nick Fury? Yeah, I'll take my mask off.
I also want an explanation.
Nice to meet you, Quentin Beck.
I want an explanation on how every single one of his friends from his group at that school disappear with the snap.
That's the explanation. What are you, dumb?
No. Everybody in that one group disappeared. Like,
yeah.
Someone should have... Like, I think it'd be much more interesting if one of his friends in the group are, like, 5 years older now.
Why?
Because.
What's going to happen there?
It'd just be interesting human character interactions. Like, what is this face?
The
Who are you?
He's going to go like this. Oh, hey, Peter. And he's going to go, it's me, Mark. Remember Mark? Oh, right. See, you got snapped.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm 5 years older, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I think that would be
it is cool that I'm 5 years older and you are now 5 years. You're the same age. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I gotta go because I'm married and I got a kid because I'm 5 years older than you.
See, this is what I'm talking. I want to see that though. I think that'd be interesting to watch.
Okay, well you're in the minority right now.
Am I?
Yeah.
There's only 2 of us in this room. Exactly.
It's not that it's 50-50.
Comment below and let me know what you think. Put him in the minority.
I don't care. Like if you are interested in that kind of stuff, then yeah, okay. But we don't know if we're not going to see that. We might.
We might. I'm hoping we do because it looks like it starts off in the high school. So I hope we get some of that in the high school.
Yeah.
Like one of the students he went to school with is now his teacher. That'd be funny.
That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of funny.
That'd be funny.
You know. But yeah, it is one of those like coincidentally, the core group all got snapped.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Thank you for that. You make me feel a little better.
No, I'm not saying that it's easy. Like it's one of those where I'm like, oh, okay, of course,
yeah,
of course the whole group, because it's one of those where it's like, well, how else does it work, right? Like, because they established MJ really strongly. Well, what would happen if she's now 5 years older, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be for comic book fans.
But then it puts it in a real weird place too, right? Because now she's older. Can I date you? I don't know.
Or I don't even have the same feelings I have for you because you've been gone for 5 years and I've lived a life in the the decimation is what they call it.
That's what I'm saying. I would have liked for one of the characters in that group of 5. It's like 5 names.
We'll say
right?
For the sake of argument, because I think the teacher guy, the debate guy.
Okay, yeah, the debate guy, yeah, from Community, right? Is that the guy from Community?
No, he's Freaks and Geeks. And from like Seth Rogen type movies and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that guy, yeah.
The one that was like in Knocked Up when it's just like, oh man, you got pink eye too? No, I'm just really, really, really high. Oh fuck, son. I actually read somewhere that they actually said that his character is the same in Incredible Hulk and in Homecoming. Really? Because it's the same actor, right?
Well, that's cool then.
It is, except now they're saying fully, wholeheartedly that Incredible Hulk is part of the MCU canon, and it's just like I guess it's part of that whole like they're kind of cherry picking parts of that movie that they can say because they bring back Jenna Ross, but they don't bring back Betty Ross. So they don't bring back his longtime girlfriend, right? Yep. They don't mention Abomination at all.
Or the leader who they set up at the end of it.
Exactly. Well, you could argue that he died. That's fine.
You could.
But
I mean, like...
But Abomination, like, the only thing they said was that Hulk tore up Harlem. That was it. Okay, well, why did he tear up Harlem? Because he was fighting the Abomination.
I keep forgetting about the leader.
Oh,
They could easily bring him back as a big villain in the new phase.
Well, no, because we already discussed this. They got Korvac.
Korvac. I literally went... I had to Google... When you said Korvac, I'm like, I know who that is, but I forget what he looks like. I had to Google what he looked like.
I did the same thing. I was like, that name is familiar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. And then when I went through Wikipedia, I was like... like, out of all the other cosmic guys...
All of them.
Like I said, like, we talked about this. Annihilus.
Yeah.
Or Annihilus, or however you want to pronounce it.
I've always said Annihilus.
Yeah, and I think I've always said Annihilus.
Yeah.
But anyway, Annihilus was the big bad guy in Annihilation, which was the big impetus for all the cosmic books, which was where we're getting closer to the Guardians that we see now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where we get, they revamp and repower Nova to build him up, so that when Sam Alexander shows up as the new Nova, that's like a big thing. It's kind of like building up Cap to introduce Bucky to be Cap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All of that spread out of that. So why not build him up as the next big bad guy?
Yeah,
and on top of that, because he's from the negative zone.
Yeah, and like
You've got your tie to Fantastic Four.
I was saying, what if the Fantastic Four were in the negative zone the whole time? What if they were the first family of the MCU, but they've been gone for 20 years and then stuck in this time? And Doom. They're all there.
Because in the Ultimate world, Ultimate Verse, they got all of that from the, they called it the End-verse, I think.
End Zone.
End Zone, that's right. Yeah. That's right, because it's the negative zone.
Yep.
But yeah, and they called it the End Zone. But that's where they got their powers.
Yeah.
And so I agree, like, do that so you can introduce Annihilus as the big bad. Fuck, have him be super weakened, and then have him slowly getting more power, and you introduce the Fantastic Four.
Like,
and Doctor Doom.
When Disney bought Marvel, Kevin Feige said, we have no plans to do guys for at least 5 years. We have everything mapped out. And I'm just like, that's such horseshit, because you literally got Spider-Man through in Civil War a couple months later. And then you built all his movies around that.
I feel like that's sort of so that they can go, hey, surprise.
Surprise. Yeah, I hope that's what it is. I hope it is. Because you can easily go, okay, Korvac, Annihilus. Nothing shot yet.
Yeah. And, like, I mean, like, Korvac, even for, like, comic book fans like us, like, you have to be...
Hardcore comic fans.
You have to be a deep cut guy.
Yeah. Where
you literally... and I kind of, sort of apologize if this offends anybody, but you have to be, like, that stereotypical geek that, like, when we were in high school, like, when people called us geeks, they were referencing the fat, pimply loser that still lives with his parents, who's never had sex, who's probably never going to have sex because he can't get out of this whole comic book thing, and literally will say, Korvac was in this episode, and this was when he was first introduced, you know, like, the stuff I can do with a lot of characters, but not all of them, but he would literally be like, just, like, the kind where even I would go, okay, buddy, like, I get it, but, I don't know, do some push-ups, talk to women, you know, maybe read some other comic books that maybe have women as central characters to get an idea how to speak to them. I don't know what to tell you, but I can tell you that knowing every single thing about Korvac, not as cool as you think it is.
See, I was a huge geek, but I knew how to speak to women because of all the Patrick Swayze movies I watched.
Very nice. I actually thought you were going to say Patrick Stewart.
Oh.
I was going to say, Next Generation. Yeah, because he did Mac pretty hard.
He did. He
did.
He was a Mac Daddy. So, apparently, Chris Mercier.
No.
Ken Levitsky.
Oh.
Half hour in and we're doing the introduction. Apparently today we're going to be talking about Brightburn.
Yes.
Yes,
we are.
Return of James Gunn.
First and foremost, once again, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us at the Geek Pants Compound, where we discuss
I like that, Geek Pants
all
Compound.
Things geek. And just so it's professional, I'm Chris Mercier. This is Ken Levitsky. This is the Geek Pants Camcast. And yes, we will be discussing instant classic Brightburn.
Yes. Brightburn is fucking phenomenal.
Instant classic. I'm not even... This isn't hyperbole.
Yeah.
Or hyperbole, if you want to not be like me.
After we left the theater, I could not stop. I went to bed at like 2 because I couldn't stop thinking of that movie.
I instantly started Googling Super.
Yeah.
And...
Crimson Bolt.
Crimson Bolt.
Yeah.
That's right. That was the name. And I was literally like, okay, do I watch this now? Do I watch this now? I'm not haven't watched it yet.
I have it if you want to borrow it.
I am definitely going to borrow it because I'm going to
Shut up, crime!
I'm definitely going to watch it.
Rainn Wilson's amazing in it.
It's Rainn Wilson.
It's Rainn Wilson. Versus Kevin Bacon.
Holy fuck.
How have you not watched this movie?
Holy fuck.
Ellen Page is his
I know,
sidekick.
I saw Ellen Page as a sidekick and stuff.
Liv Tyler's his love interest. It's such a great cast.
You know what it is? I think I just wasn't ready for it.
You weren't ready for it?
I don't think so. And I think I made the right choice by waiting so long to watch it. Because could you imagine if I watched it and I was like, it's good.
Yeah.
But, you know?
But now, you can not watch it?
Well, we'll worry about that later.
Why is Super missing from the Super spot?
I don't know.
I'll find it.
Yeah, I'm not
Do
too
not
worried
worry,
about it.
Chris.
I will not worry because you said that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, so we're going to be talking about Brightburn. And if the intro, the half-hour intro, gets edited out, well, okay, great. If it doesn't, awesome. You got a little juicy nugget of us just rambling.
I'm probably going to leave it in because it's a perfect segue. Because our last episode was ended with us talking about Far From Home. And this one kicked off with us talking about... It's like we didn't stop talking about it for 2 weeks.
That's right. Okay. All right. I'm okay with you leaving it in.
I'm
Okay, so... Brightburn. When I first saw the trailer for this... when I first saw the trailer for this...
Yes. In 10 seconds, the Brightburn trailer begins.
With flashes of what's in the trailer. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this looks pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But then when I actually watched the trailer, I was like, whoa. Now, for a non-superhero, well, technically a non-superhero movie, but a non-Marvel or DC movie, for a trailer to make me immediately go, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I absolutely have to see this. And I absolutely have to see this in the theater. Because this just looks crazy. Okay? And then, and immediately, and I was like, because I am such a huge Superman fan, so immediately when you do the, Middle America shots, the farmland, you reference this young married couple who are trying to have a kid but can't, and then you reference a spaceship going down in their immediate vicinity, and in that ship is a baby, a boy, that they take in as their own. I'm like, okay, alright. But then when you immediately make it so that this kid is fucking evil, I shouldn't even say evil, fucking alien. Like alien. It's
almost like he becomes possessed. Because he loved his family, he loved his parents.
Yeah.
Then when he turned 12, right? It's kind of like
it's the puberty thing. It's the
The
puberty
ship
thing,
starts
and it's
talking.
the ship. So, they make a reference right away where they're talking about bees.
Yeah.
And it's the hive mind thing, and I said this too, right away in the theater. It reminded me of Supreme Power, and to a lesser extent Squadron Supreme, because those are both kind of linked.
Yeah.
As long as we're talking like Straczynski and Gary Frank, then that's what I'm referencing.
Yeah.
Where it's the idea was, so instead of the Kryptonians sending out Kal-El, to be raised on Earth so that he could live while the planet died, the alien race, and I can't remember what it was in Squadron Supreme, they were sending out these ships to other planets to take them over, to totally have a global dominion, or a galactic dominion. There you go.
I like that.
Yeah. And so right away when the ship suddenly, he's genetically 12, and the ship just turns on, and all of a sudden it's just entrancing him. It's actually feeding him information while he's sleeping, so it's subconscious. I was like, holy fuck. Because it really does hit the ground running.
Yeah, it does.
It does a great job of establishing Elizabeth Banks. I always say Emily, but I know it's wrong.
As Tory Breyer.
Yeah. And I don't know his name.
David Denman.
Okay.
As Kyle Breyer. David Denman is one of those actors you always see in things and you always like him.
I always like him.
But you never really follow him afterwards. Like, I don't go, hey, I gotta watch the new David Denman thing. He just pops up and you're like, hey!
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah,
guy.
exactly.
This proved that he could actually lead something.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great.
I feel like Elizabeth Banks is the lead, though.
Oh, she is. She's 100% the lead. But he's he's the highest of the supporting, for sure. Yeah,
he's definitely like a co-lead. He'd have to be co-lead.
Co-lead.
I would have to say co-lead for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Elizabeth Banks is always great.
Oh, yeah.
Always great. I've always, like, I said this in the theater. Isn't it funny how some people just quietly become one of your favorite actresses? And she's one of them. Just kind of out of nowhere. Like, you've seen her in, I think the first time I ever saw her was in Spider-Man.
Yep.
That I can recall. And then you just see her pop up and just, I mean, she's just great. She's absolutely phenomenal. I love her. I always liked him, even though I didn't like him in The Office, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You know. But, man, like, immediately, it's just this down-to-earth, like, family. Like, you kind of feel like it would be an updated, like, Mom and Pop Kent. You're like, okay, all right. And the kid is, up until that point, he's just a kid. Like, he's a generally good kid, you know? And then the ship...
Little strange and quirky, but...
Little strange and quirky.
Who wasn't at that age.
Right, exactly. And then the ship starts talking to him. And the way they had that ship talk to him...
Yeah, you were getting creeped out in the theater.
It was just...
that
like, guttural, sort of, almost...
gurgly chant.
Sam Raimi-esque type thing. Like,
yeah,
I got a
very
huge
evil,
Sam Raimi
very
vibe,
evil
like Evil Dead vibe, where it was just like just a gurgling roll.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that is just so creepy. But it was perfect. It was perfect because, like I said, like it you watch the trailer, you know that it's not going to be a good movie. It's not going to be this happy, like, smiling, like...
Yeah.
You know?
And you know it can't be a movie where good guys win.
Well, that's the thing I said. Like I said, I
is this gonna end?
Right away, I said, it's going to end two ways. It's going to end with him getting killed, and I think I might have said that part of the ship will be the way they kill him. I think I might have said that, but I might not have.
I think he might have, because when he cut himself on the ship halfway through...
No, I'm talking before we
Yeah, but I know that's right. But when he cut himself, you're like, see, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, because I do remember mentioning it, and then, but I also said, like, it's either they kill him that way, some way, in some way, shape, or form, or he gets away, and he just does it, like, he just keeps going. And we'll get to the end. I'm not gonna say it now, because there will be spoilers, there's no way.
Oh, absolutely.
We won't spoil this, but I'm not going to spoil it just
so
yet.
That everything is spoiled, yeah.
But, like, the little ways that they started to show him getting stronger was really cool, especially from a practical sense. Because, like, I know the budget wasn't huge.
No, at $5 million budget.
Yeah.
So they've made their money. It hasn't been a successful film. Like, it's not making a ton worldwide. No. But they've made their money back. I hope they've made enough back to maybe get a sequel.
I hope so too. Especially because, well, even, like, it's funny because, like, for such a contained movie, they did a fair amount of world building. Because, like, you establish that, well, he's we'll say a drone bee, for instance. So he's the guy that's going to start getting this planet ready for subjugation, right? But then immediately right at the end, when they start talking about the other things, again, not going to spoil it just yet, but I will. Don't you worry. So then when they do that aspect, you're just like, holy shit! Like, holy shit! I said right that night. I said right at the gates, the casting of the kid, which I believe you have on
Jackson A. Dunn,
was perfect because he looks like a normal human being, but he looks just off kilter enough that he could be an alien. And I think that was an interesting take for me because we always just accept that, you know, Superman was raised as a good person, right? Because the Kryptonians are generally good people, right? Like even in Man of Steel, where they tweak the Kryptonians a bit and they say, well, they were a very totalitarian society, so it was like, you're going to be a scientist and you're going to be a warrior and nobody's going to have sex and breed children. Normally, we're going to breed them this way, through the Codex, right? So that was different, but still, ultimately, you got the sense that most of the people were good, you know? And even with when they talked about the outposts and stuff, you never thought it was like them taking over. It was just them expanding their reach and just seeing who they can help out type of thing. Whereas this one, and this is where I was getting to with Squadron Supreme, where if Mark Milton wasn't damaged, because the Power Princess, I can't remember what her real name was, but the Wonder Woman character, because she's an alien as well, she's part of the same race, she knows, and she's been waiting for him so that they can take over the Earth, and she says, like, well, he's broken. And it was only between her and Dr. Spectrum with the gem that they were able to talk to the real alien part of Mark Milton. And I remember just being like, holy shit. Like, there's that scene where Amphibian is looking at them, and all she sees are the aliens, not the actual physical forms. And I said that to you, and I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, that's pretty crazy. But again, with Mark Milton, we're lucky that he was damaged so that he was a good guy.
Yeah.
And ultimately wanted to do good. He wanted to save the world. His tactics may not be as good as, ultimately, Superman's, but whereas this one, it was, like, when he starts working out the language, and he starts saying, take.
Yeah. Take.
And then it's like, take over Earth.
No, take it all.
Take it all, that's right.
Take it all.
That's right, so he's doing take, and then the second time they do it, then it's take it all. I don't care who you are. I think there was maybe like 5 or 6 other people in the theater with us.
Yeah.
But I think all of us were just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Because at that point we'd already seen him throwing the lawnmower,
putting his hand in
and
the
then
blade.
just looking at it and going like, the blade is going full tilt, and he's just like, and you know he doesn't have any pain, and then, oh man, we broke that girl's arm.
Oh, yeah, snap.
Like, it wasn't just her hand.
Yeah.
Then he fucking wrenched her arm, and they
show it. They show
make
it.
all the noises.
They had no problem showing things in this movie.
And you're just like, oh, and that was the first big one, too, because they were doing the trust thing, and this was after he creeped her out, because he was in her room. Yeah, and that curtain waves.
That was
a great shot, because, like,
I don't care who you are, the cinematography of what they pulled off with the tiny budget they have for CGI.
Oh, man.
Wow.
It was so good. Like,
it's a good looking movie.
Like, that scene where he's in her room, and he's messing with her laptop.
Yeah.
Oh, because he leaves the flowers.
Throwing the music on.
And he's throwing the music on. That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He's throwing the music on, and then so she's fucking freaked out at this point. And then there's that just quick glimpse of him behind the curtains, and it was just like, holy shit!
Yeah,
holy shit! And then of course he's gone.
Yeah,
right?
Well, her mom comes in, she turns back, he's gone.
And then she's like panicked.
Yeah,
you know, because this weird kid doesn't know how to talk to women. And he was getting off on the insides of women and stuff like that.
Oh, right,
which is so gross.
Very gross.
But even that, just that aspect alone, so I feel like if the ship never spoke to him, he would never have grown up to be like Superman. Mm-hmm. Like, he would, even if the ship was taken out of the equation, he would never have grown up to be, or at least a version of Superman, because he's starting to realize that he's different, but he's also not reacting to it the way Clark Kent would react to it. Because Clark Kent would, like, you've seen it all the time where, like, he knows the kids are going to trip him. He knows that because he can hear them.
Yeah.
But he lets them trip them anyway because it just helps him hide amongst them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you hear the stories about how, like, he is softening his face when they punch him so that it doesn't break their hands and stuff like that. He's doing all these little things so that nobody suspects that he's different, because ultimately he knows that they're going to freak out. They're not going to be like his mom and his dad are going to be like, no, we love you, son. You know what I mean? And at the same time, he doesn't want to be taken away from his parents. This is a kid that doesn't think like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't think like that. He's thinking like, well, nobody likes me. bullying me, they're picking on me. So even if the ship was out of the equation, I get the very, very strong sense that he'd still go the route that he did. Maybe not as bad, but eventually it would have been as bad, because it's, like I was also mentioning Irredeemable at that point too, that Mark Waid version of Superman, where Superman, or the Plutonian, fucks up horribly, kills a ton of people, and then tries to hide the fact, and then the story gets outed anyway, and then he snaps, right?
Yep.
And the idea was, like, if a normal human being had Superman's powers and was hearing people shit-talk him all day, how would he handle that? And it would be really hard to have the presence to say, I'm okay with them hating and fearing me, because at the end of the day, I'm just here to help. And that's probably why Batman v Superman is such a hard pill to swallow, because he literally just spends the whole time going like, oh man, they hate me. No matter what I do, they hate me. Oh, instead of just being like instead of rising above it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think would have been way more interesting. I think if Snyder tapped into that aspect, I think that would have been a more interesting take, where you still have that. It's those scenes where they're like, he's an alien, he's this, he's that, and I wouldn't want him to save my life, and you have Clark still like hearing it and still going like, I don't care, I'm here to save lives.
Just text my dad back. You keep talking. He's trying to call me. I'm just gonna let him know.
That's fine.
I'm rocking the Camcast right now.
Yeah, you do that. I will say you should apologize to them, though.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm texting while on camera.
Oh, I like that you said it with sarcasm.
So sarcasm.
Anyway, so
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but like because the mopey Superman is just, it's a whiny bitch Superman, and you don't see whiny bitch Superman ever except in Batman v Superman. Like in Man of Steel, you can kind of get behind it. Especially because at the end, a lot of people are looking at him like he's a hero. But then when they revisit that trope in Batman v Superman, you're just like, wouldn't people have gotten past this? Like, I get the decimation of Metropolis, and he's got to right those wrongs, but he really, and that's one of the reasons why I find him so empowering, because he's the kind of guy where, like, the whole world is shitting on him. He's still just, like, putting on his cape going, that's fine. I'm still gonna... I'm still going to stop this meteor from killing you. I'm still going to fight Darkseid whenever he shows up, because that's what I'm here to do. You know? So, like I said, I don't get the impression that, what was his first name? Brandon?
Brandon. Brandon Breyer.
Brandon Breyer would go that route.
Yeah.
But even still, like, we'll never know that, because, of course, the ship's talking to him. And the ship's saying, like,
it's kind of cool, like, when the BB symbol that he's drawing.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw in the trailers and everything, I thought it meant Brightburn.
That's what I thought, too. And then when
Turns
you find
out
that
it's
Brightburn...
Brian Breyer, and Brightburn's the town he lives in.
Brightburn was a town. I was like, that's actually kind of a cool, like, superhero name to come up with, like, Brightburn. Or a super villain name, really.
Yeah.
But even still, I did the same thing you did, because I was like, oh, that makes sense.
He's going to call himself Brightburn.
You know, but instead, he's literally initializing every fucking horrible thing he's doing.
With his own name. Not even an alias.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, no holding back on what they show in this movie at all. Because then he goes after that girl's mom. And that's a brutal scene.
We saw that in the extended trailer. I remember seeing that. Or no, just in the trailer in general. Yeah. So you knew it was going to be bad. Like,
this movie's intense. Like, crazy suspenseful. Like, I had chills a couple times.
Yeah.
Just because it's eerie. Like, when she turns around and his initials are all over the windows in the fog.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And, like, that's the other thing, too. Like, this is a guy who, it's like, it's one thing for the ship to say, hey, man, take it all.
Yeah.
It's another for the ship to go, not only that, toy with them, play with them. That's all Brandon Breyer. That's not the ship. So that's what I'm getting at.
Take it all.
So he's already, like, he's the kid that would grow up to be the guy that they're like, oh, that Brandon kid, yeah, he fucking skinned cats in high school. You know, and he went to jail for a little while for it. Don't fucking talk to him, because he's weird as fuck, right? He'll probably kill you.
Yeah.
He's that kid. Now he's got superpowers. And that whole scene, like, even though you saw in the trailer, they did a really good job of, like, they hit the ground running, but then on those scenes, they stretch them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's that sense where they're in between scenes. They're like, okay, we're going here, but it doesn't feel rushed, which I thought was really refreshing.
It's the pacing's awesome in this movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, then they get to these. Well, I guess you could say set pieces.
Yeah,
because that's all movies are now: is action set pieces with stories in between.
But even like with a regular horror movie, when you got a set piece like that, they have that build up, and then they have the and then they have the scene continue, but you've already had the. Mm-hmm. This is just like a build up without the release, and then it just goes. Yeah. And you're just like, whoa! And then the next set piece comes on. You're just like, here we go again.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's just like it's a roller coaster that goes up and never comes down.
No, and that's right. And I think that's part of the reason why, like, even going to sleep after that was a little hard, because there was no like, oh. Mm-hmm. It was still just like, holy shit! I know. It was like one holy shit after another. Because, like I said, the first holy shit was when he fucked her wrist up. Yeah. Because it was just, and they showed it too, and it was just like, oh god. And she's like 12 too, and she actually looked younger. Yeah. You know what I mean? So definitely it looked real for one. And then they
have the glass in the eye.
But the glass in the eye.
And she pulls it out, horrible. And the cool thing after she pulled it out is that they showed her everything in her vision, the split view, the red down the side.
Every single time I saw that, I was like, that is awesome.
And he's flashing back and forth between the clear and the red. Like,
that was so cool. That was so cool. And then, like even, oh man, like you saw the scene where, like, he's cutting through, with his heat vision. Yeah. And he's cutting through the freezer room. The freezer, not the freezer room. The freezer.
He's going through the wall or the door.
Yeah, he's going through the door, and like I did laugh at that scene because I was like, why do everybody think like the freezer is going to be? Because there's no way out. Yeah. It's if they get in, you're fucked. But that's exactly what happened. But what was really cool was that there was actually a bit of a mystery because her body's never found, which I thought was like, I was like, oh, well, he probably just like buried her or did something with her because this is a kid who's like getting his feet wet as a killer. Right? Mm-hmm. And that was the other thing that I thought was really, really neat, too, is that he never, ever once wrestled with what he was doing. Like, he was never like...
No, the only time when it kind of went, was with his mom.
But I also...
She kind of brought him back down a little bit. Not all the way back to normal, but...
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, because at that point, too, there's no real, like... It's like I've said plenty of times, it's like, if you have Superman kill, the second that anyone sees Superman kill, and for the sake of argument, we'll say like human beings, but it could be aliens, it's not going to matter that he was brainwashed or whatever, because now whoever saw him kill is going to go, no, Superman's killer. Like, it's really hard to bounce back from that. Like, even as a human being, like, if you killed somebody, and then people found out that you killed somebody, they're going to look at you differently. Mm-hmm. They're not going to go, like, well, like, he was this, that. They're going to go, like, he fucking killed somebody. Like, he could kill somebody again, right? And then you add in global decimation level powers, right? And then it's just like, we're fucked, right? So there was no coming back for him, but I do feel like there was that sense that he, like, maybe he might have been able to stop. Maybe. Because not too many people, nobody knew that it was him at that point except for her. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because everyone else that did know was killed. Except for the daughter. That's right.
The daughter and the aunt.
The aunt didn't suspect him, though.
No, but... She was his, therapist? No, counselor in school.
Guidance counselor, yeah.
And so she was getting strange vibes from him.
She was getting strange vibes from him.
And she was going to talk to the parents or the police? Who was she going to talk to? It was the parents. Okay. Yeah.
So she was definitely getting weird vibe from him. But even after the uncle, her husband, was killed, she wasn't like, oh, I think Brandon did it. She didn't say any link to Brandon other than, did he get home okay? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
But now she'll know.
Well, yeah. Now she'll know, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it don't matter now, but...
It doesn't matter. But yeah, so, like, I feel like I don't know. I still feel like even that momentary pause was only because of his mom, but I don't think it would have mattered.
I don't think so either. I mean, he was signing his initials at the crime scenes. So...
You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those where, like, the times when he was in a trance, which wasn't as many times as I thought there would be. Like, I think it was, what, the 2 times?
2, I think, right? Just at night.
It was the initial one where she found him.
Yeah.
And snapped him out of it.
And then the next time
and then it was floating. The initial one, the final one where he found the ship.
Yeah.
But after that, after he made the connection to take it all, that was it. But we forget the fact that he creeped her room. He wasn't in a trance. So, like, he knew what he was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
He knew that. Just like the birthday scene when he wasn't going to get the gun.
Yeah.
He knew that he should have been more respectful to his dad. He knew that, and still was like, you know, like a kid. But this is like, he's doing these things. He knows it's wrong. He's doing it anyway. Like even
because it's starting to feel good.
Well, yeah, because he's starting to feel like he's somebody.
He's superior to these people.
That part when he was talking with his aunt, who was a guidance counselor, and he's just like, "No, I'm special. Yeah. I'm superior." And he says it like that, and you're just like, "Oh fuck," you know? Because again, like I look at like some of these entitled kids. You know, oh, I'm special because mom worshipped the ground I walked in. Every little thing I did was perfect, and I could do no wrong. And you're like, give that kid superpowers, he ain't gonna be like catching people falling out of buildings. No, he's gonna be destroying the buildings because he wants everybody to know he's the fucking man. He is superior. I was like, holy shit, man. Of course, why wouldn't he leave his initials? Who's gonna do anything to stop him? Is it his uncle? Nope.
Not the uncle, and that was disgusting.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Like, if you thought the wrist...
And the eye...
And the eye was like, this is gross.
Yeah.
You thought that was gross. You haven't seen a guy dropped with his fucking mouth open on a steering wheel.
Yeah.
And they split right through.
And then the jaw's dangling, and he's holding it up with his hands.
Yeah, and first of all, you see steering wheel rip right through.
Yeah.
They don't shy away from that.
No, they show it.
They give you a nice side view of that shit. And we both were like, oh, God! And then later, when he's holding it, and he's trying to breathe and talk and not die.
And while he's doing that, Brandon's taking his blood.
And fucking
and
doing his initials. I was like, oh my God. This is so gross. Oh, that was fucking gross.
That was really gross. And then you're just like, wow, it can't get worse than that. No.
Oh, fuck.
It's well, it started with the chicken slaughter.
And
then it went to the people after
That's
that.
right. It was chicken slaughter.
Yeah.
That was the other trance part, though. That was the other trance part.
Was he in a trance?
Unless he was
Because
just
he was kind of just in that trance, and his dad pulled him away, and then the next day he found the chickens all ripped to shit.
He might have just been ignoring his dad because he could have been just lost in the thought of just tearing them up. Oh, that was a gross scene too. Like that shot of the chick. Oh,
blood everywhere.
Fuck. And the worst part is of course, so like you had, Elizabeth Banks, the mom, seeing him in the trance, finding the ship for the first time. She doesn't say anything to her husband. And then her husband, or the father, saw him eating and then just absent-mindedly chewing on the fork like it was nothing.
Yeah, and bending it all out of shape.
And he's just like, what the fuck? He's like, you gotta get to school. But doesn't say anything, and I was just like, oh, geez, that's gonna come back to haunt them, but... Oh, fuck. And that mask?
Even the mask is creepy.
That mask, like Call of Cthulhu style, like that is some fucking heavy, gross shit. The cool part was, and I don't know if he noticed it, but that's the blanket that he was in when he was in the ship.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I was like, okay, that's a nice little nod to Superman. That's disgustingly horrifying nod to Superman. Just these red eyes with this burgundy weird chunk thing. It was like, I think it was like shoelace or something.
Yeah.
Either way, it was
laced
just like,
up his mouth. And...
It's fucking weird.
Then that cop is on the case.
The cop is starting to piece together.
He's starting to piece together, but it's like, man, you're not going to do anything.
But of course, what is he like? How does he think that? He doesn't think that. He has no concept of this.
And his dad, I felt so bad for his dad too. Like he was really fighting. Like I love him, but
because
he's killing people now.
Because I said entitled kids because like Elizabeth Banks plays like that entitled parent really well, where she's saying like, no, my kid, yeah, sure, he almost ripped her arm off, but it was
he hides pictures of guts under his bed, no big deal.
Yeah,
he's just interested in
he's just
female body.
In the female body,
and his dad's like, I never looked at that kind of stuff when I was interested in female bodies.
Yeah, no, I like the outside of the female bodies,
not the insides.
Well, to a degree, a level of the inside. We want to get gross. We want to get gross, but not like the guts and the fucking intestines and shit like that. Like, I popped a boner to that right now. That's a write-off for me. That's me just checking myself into the hospital and going, I got a boner to some liver.
Seriously wrong.
And so I'm good. I need help.
I can't see my wife until this is fixed.
Yeah, I don't know if I can see anybody, let alone my wife. But she's like definitely like literally looking at it like, he's trying to find his way type of thing. Yeah. And you're right, like he's in the unenviable position of going like, no, like he's not. He's trying to find his way. Sure, it's not going to be pretty. Like, I even, like, felt for him when he had to go, but he's not our kid. Mm-hmm. And she's like, she freaks out because, as far as she's concerned, this is her miracle baby. Or hell, even when they did that dream sequence.
Yeah, with the oozes, like, dripping from her eyes.
But I thought that the dream sequence would have ended up with us getting a shot of what baby Brandon really looked like. Yeah. Because, like, Irredeemable, he's full-on an alien. But he took on the appearance of whatever was around him. So humans saw him as a baby, and he went from being a fucking weirdo alien to a baby in an instant, right? Because it just naturally adapted to that. So I thought that would have been really cool. I mean, sure, the baby with the glowing eyes was fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah, it was
fucking creepy as shit, but I thought it would have been kind of neat if we got to see, like, it was actually full-on a grotesque alien type of thing. You could have argued it was still the dream sequence anyway, but that dream sequence was really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. And I didn't see that coming. But I'm glad they put that in there. But yeah, like, I felt for him. Hell, fuck, you feel for him when he's fucking thrown into the wall. Like, his 12-year-old son doesn't look like much. Throws a guy who's probably at the 220 to 250 range.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a big dude, and he looks like he knows how to handle himself, and he had nothing on his son. So you've got that, now you got to deal with the fact that, okay, now you have to sit there and look at the kid that you raised and think, he's not my son. And now you got to take him on a hunting trip to try and put a bullet in his head, because you can't help but feel that he's the reason why all this shit is happening in this quiet town of Brightburn.
And he successfully shoots him in the head.
Shoots him in the head, and we all saw that coming. We knew it. It was not going to do anything.
Bullet goes, boop.
I actually liked that he just kind of went,
ow.
Huh. And then that was it.
And that was it.
Fucking melts his fucking face.
Holds his face and then shoots the lasers into his dad's eyes until the back of his head blows out.
Oh my god. That's the least goriest one, but that was one of the worst ones to watch. Because, like, that's your father. And it doesn't help that right before he goes hunting with him, he's looking at the baby pictures, watching their videos of him as a baby, and showing him that he's being raised by these people. And then he blows out his dad's head. It's like... Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just like, oh my god. And then that's it. Like, it's on. Like, and when I keep saying, like, it never let up. Like, it hit the ground running, and it did not let up. Like, there was that, I mentioned, like, Hereditary, how there's that unending sense of dread. Like, and it just kept getting worse. And there was, like, bits of, like, creepiness. There was bits of gore and just outright, like, holy fuck, this is not good. And then it just keeps building and building to the part where, like, the cops show up at the house.
Yeah.
You know? And,
that didn't work out too well.
No.
The friggin' the main cop that was puzzling together gets thrown against the pillar and he explodes.
Oh, that was so gross.
Just blows apart on the pillar.
Oh, God, like guts all over the pillar.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the fucking fence and shit.
And
it was
then
just
he's just like
horrible.
beating the shit out of that poor female cop.
Just having his way with her.
Yeah.
Oh.
All while Elizabeth Banks is hiding under the bed, hoping he doesn't see her.
And he's toying with her too.
And that was creepy. She's hiding, and you just see his feet floating like this around her face.
But I liked the touch where he was floating, like that, because it was like, it instantly reminded me of All-Star Superman, where at one point Lex Luthor ends up getting Superman's powers for 24 hours, right? And he's literally the entire time floating straight on.
Yeah.
And it's like purposely so that
Why
he's
walk?
above you. So he's above you. And I was like, that's such a great touch. And it's weird to see somebody fly like that with like just the feet.
Just feet dangling down.
Yeah, like because you're used to them flying and doing action poses, and then when they're not, they're kind of hovering, or like Superman will go to the ground and walk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this kid, no. So we've covered all of them.
Yeah, so we're at Elizabeth Banks.
We're at
Elizabeth
Banks.
The wrap up of the farmhouse.
I thought, well, okay, yeah, because you'd mentioned this. So, like, at one point, when he was floating above the ship and he was in a trance, and then his mom got him out, and he fell, cut his hand, that's right, on the ship.
Yeah.
Then I was like, yeah, hell, that's probably how they're going to kill him. Although I said that, but in my head, I'm like, I don't think they're going to kill him. And then but, like, I thought that was kind of interesting because this is the first time this kid has ever felt pain. And you cut your hand, like, that's a different kind of pain than if you cut your arm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because all the nerve endings here as opposed to here. So now he's got that first cut and all this. And I remember just being like, oh, fuck, that's got to be rough, right? But I like how they do that, and then they just kind of leave it. Mm-hmm. So that later, when she's like, she goes back there, because then you start going, oh, okay, she's going to try to lure him in there, and I'm trying to think, like, how is she going to figure out a way to kill him? I did think it was kind of a little... It didn't make any sense that she was able to physically pry off a piece. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't much effort, you know? But it was still just one of those, like, okay, all right. And they do that heart-to-heart, and then she tries to kill him, and he stops her, and it was just like, oh, fuck. That's, right then and there was when I knew that's it.
But before that, you see that woman's body pinned on the wall with their guts all over.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot all about this. So the mother that he killed, the first part,
whose body
she's
disappeared.
All splayed out.
Like, she's pinned against the wall, her stomach is flipped open, and the guts are just...
They're all just out. And that's right, I was just like, oh, fuck.
It's like, oh, they just keep going. They just keep showing it all.
Like, every scene, you're just like the jaw was gross, like the wrist was gross, the glass in the eye was gross, the jaw was gross, like horrifyingly gross. The
exploding body.
While the head, like the heat vision through the head wasn't the grossest thing, it was just really impactful, because that's his fucking dad. Yeah. And there's no remorse. I mean, yeah, he tried to kill you. But then the exploding cop, the beating of the other cop, it was just like, oh my god, this is fucking just gross. Yeah. And then it's that scene, you're like, whoa! Like, holy shit.
So gross.
Holy shit. And then when he stops her from killing him, like I said, like I knew 100% it was over. I knew that was it.
He grabs her, flies through the roof. They go all the way up to the clouds. Her face is all bashed up from the roof now. Yeah. And then she says something to him, right? Did they say anything to each other up in the air?
I thought
she said I love you or something.
She said she was sorry, and then she said she loved him.
And he drops her.
And then
the plane
shows up, and he takes that fucker down. Yeah. all so that he can act like he's the sole survivor of this plane that just happened to go down on his house, you know? And, like, that part I thought was really, really cool because, like, he's getting smarter at getting away with it, you know? Like, well, like, with his uncle, they were just like, well, you know, he was a little drunk, he went off the road, so he didn't make it. With the mom, she just disappeared. And then, like, his dad, we don't even know what he did with his dad's body. I assume he just torched the shit out of him. You know?
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard.
yeah, exactly. And then, like, the plane on there, and he's fucking eating cookies.
Yeah.
Like, just literally, I'm eating cookies, I got cookies, everybody's dead but me.
Yeah.
You know?
And then cut the credits, but we're not done.
No, we're not done.
We
need...
The Rooker arrives.
I was just going to say, we need modern-day thespian Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker.
A phrase I never thought I would say.
No.
Like...
No.
At one point in time, if you would have said, hey, Chris, that guy there, you're going to refer to him as a modern-day thespian. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
This bit player?
Yeah.
He's still a bit player. Although his Yondu was amazing.
Yeah. Well, he's Gunn's go-to guy, so...
But,
so that was a great surprise cameo.
Holy shit, was that
But then while he's talking,
cameo.
going all crazy, you've seen all the destruction that Brandon's causing behind him. Like, he's taking down buildings. Then he caused, like, a forest fire or something. Like, he burned the town down.
He was just fucking going nuts.
Yeah.
And the creepy shots of him just floating above.
Yeah.
And floating above. I was
mysterious person hovering. And then they show, like, pictures of other superpower people.
Well, then they start saying, well, like, then there's, like, I wonder if there's a connection to that half man, half fish that's eating people in the ocean. I think he said eating people or killing people or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then there's that witch where if she gets her rope on you, she'll rip you in half or something. I can't remember exactly, but I remember just being like, what the fuck is happening?
And they start showing the images.
And then they show the fucking Crimson Bolt.
You show the Crimson Bolt.
And immediately I was like, what the fuck?
Afterwards I was like, wait a minute. Was this like another Split situation? Are we going to see another movie that puts these two worlds together?
Yeah. Although, realistically, there's no way the Crimson Bolt can possibly come close.
No.
Like, I don't...
I mean, that's like a Batman, Superman
But that's
situation.
what I mean, this whole Batman thing. Like,
yeah.
Like, okay, you're dealing with a guy who doesn't want to kill you. Like, he acknowledges you got a suit of armor, and you want to kill him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to kill you. He's holding back. I don't care what anybody says, he's holding back.
Yeah.
Kryptonite shows up 3 times. Okay. This is a guy that doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He's not holding back.
No, he'll just rip his head off.
He had an intimate death planned out for his mom.
So that would be kind of funny. You think it's this big, huge thing, and then just like, boom, over.
Crimson Bolt just goes like this. Boop, boop, boop. Click. Oh, you're dead. Okay, where's that fish guy?
But Crimson Bolt was touched by God. So
that's right. So there is that possibility.
Maybe.
There is that possibility.
I don't know.
But yeah, so that's the spoiler. That's spoilers because
David Yarovesky, the director,
he gets away with it. And as far as we're to tell, there's actually a in Justice League in the making because they're definitely DC analogs. I mean, this is a kid that's going to be Superman.
Yeah.
The evil Superman, and then of course you got the evil Wonder Woman, you got the evil Aquaman, you might as well get the evil Batman.
Crimson Bolt, well, he's not evil.
No, but he's not.
But he'd be the only one standing up against evil.
Right.
Shut up, crime!
I still haven't seen it, so I'm gonna have to watch it. But
that's the greatest thing I've ever heard a superhero say to bad guys.
Shut up, crime.
Yeah.
That's like right out of the Tick's handbook.
I know, it's so good.
Speaking of which, I was kind of surprised and not surprised that the Tick got canceled.
So many shows are getting canned right now.
Yeah.
And fucking Swamp Thing canceled after one episode.
Oh, hold on. Apparently I just read it.
Something to do with taxes or...
Not quite canceled. They're not really talking about it. I mean, they're looking at other avenues. But then again, like, apparently Warner Brothers is supposed to come out with a streaming service.
Well, that's what they want to take out DC Universe. No more DC Universe.
But then again, I was kind of like, well, why would they have done that in the first place?
It's only been around, like, a year?
No, but I mean, what I'm getting at is, like, I'm surprised that DC was, like, well, we need to have our own streaming service, even though they're owned by Warner Brothers.
It made no sense to begin with.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was the only. I think it was more or less just to get their comics out there to more viewers. Like, oh, I'm going to subscribe to this for the show. Oh, there's comics here I can read on my TV.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Although, I mean, as much as I got to say, like, I do like reading comics and comicsology, I couldn't imagine reading it on a TV screen.
I think it'd be kind of weird, right?
I feel like it would be.
Yeah.
Like, the formatting would also
Even like those motion comics they used to have in the early 2000s. Remember those? Like, I thought those were weird.
They were weird. They were weird.
They were
especially
strange.
because they reminded you of the early Marvel cartoons, like the Captain America one, where it's
hardly
like
any movement.
That stagnant Jack Kirby, and then all of a sudden his arm goes like this, and then throws the shield. And you're like, yeah, that looks normal.
Totally good animation.
Yeah.
So, Chris, I love Brightburn. I
absolutely love Brightburn.
Written by Brian and Mark Gunn, cousin and brother of James Gunn.
Okay, I was wondering what the relation
was. And brother, and they before this they wrote Journey 2, that The Rock's Journey to the Center of the Earth sequel.
Which I never watched.
So they really only wrote that, and apparently after Brightburn, Mark Millar signed them on. They're the showrunners on Jupiter's Legacy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to watch Jupiter's Legacy, because, well, first of all, Umbrella Academy was really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I still haven't seen it. Again, just too many shows.
Yeah, I would say make time for it, though.
Yeah?
I would definitely, I'll tell you right now, 2 or 3 episodes before it hooked me, but when it did, I was like, oh.
Well, maybe I'll start it, because I just finished Chernobyl, which is a masterpiece, one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. And Good Girls, which I love. It's like Breaking Bad with ladies.
Good Girls.
That's on Netflix. It's so good, man.
Okay. Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, actually, I do know the one
with Christina Hendricks.
Yeah.
Who, after I watched this, I was like, man, she would have been a good pick for Invisible Woman, too.
Yeah.
Christina Hendricks?
She would be. She would be a really good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is an absolutely incredible movie.
Brightburn is so good. It deserves way more success, but here's the thing. I feel like it's not successful because it's in this really weird place where horror fans don't want to watch it because it's about superheroes, and comic fans don't want to watch it because it's too much horror in it. It's like,
yeah, okay.
It's like
I
this.
Can see
it's
that.
like
no, it is kind
I can see like hardcore horror fans being like, I'm not watching a movie about a kid in a cape.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can see that being an issue. I also kind of think that, but at the same time, actually, before I said that, I was going to say, like, I feel like it did come out at the perfect time, though. Because, like, 5 years ago, I don't even think this movie would have been made.
No.
And then 5 years from now, I don't think this movie would be made. Because I think we're probably,
it's
you know,
really
they keep saying that superhero bubble is going to pop, but I actually kind of give it like another 5, maybe 10 years. But I'm saying 5 is probably where I think
the next phase of MCU is really going to show whether it's going to pop or not.
I hesitate. I don't want to. I know I said pop, but what I mean is not necessarily pop, but
slow down.
It's going to be just one of those where, like, unless Marvel keeps doing what they're doing, where they do different types of superhero movies, and I think that's another reason why I feel like we look at Captain Marvel 2, for instance. Why I don't feel it's going to make $1 billion is because, like if you really boil it down, like what is the central theme of Captain Marvel, and how would you expand upon that theme in Captain Marvel 2? Okay, yeah. So like I watched a YouTube video for Filmento, I think is the person that did this clip, and it was highlighting the ways or the reasons why Wonder Woman was a better movie than Captain Marvel, which I wholeheartedly agree. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
Like, from top to bottom, it's a better movie. Like, even though the guy himself said that the end scene in Wonder Woman, where it turned into a CGI thing, he thought that was a misstep. And I know a lot of the reviewers were like, "Yeah, it's another CGI monster fight at the end." I was like, yeah, but I was okay with it. Like, it was fine. I actually thought it was great.
I was okay. It was two gods fighting.
Like, I mean, how's it supposed to be a grounded affair?
If you saw two gods fighting, it's going to be this giant explosive
fucking thumb war.
No.
You know?
No.
But they did it out in the open, too, so you didn't see a lot of collateral damage, which I thought was really refreshing. Right? And it was clear what was going on. There was none of this, like, I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's winning, you know?
Yeah.
And then whereas Captain Marvel didn't really have that big CGI battle, it was really... I think the climax was really just her and Jude Law's character.
Yeah.
And even then, that was like, quick, right? But they cited...
so quick.
They cited... so the big thing was, like... So... The theme was ultimately about Diana. Like in Wonder Woman, the theme is ultimately about love for humanity, and just wanting to make sure that she can help everybody and spread that love. Whereas, like the theme for Captain Marvel was what happens when you embrace your feelings. I think because
well, we kind of talked about it was believing in yourself, I guess.
Yeah, but then if you think about it, when did she ever doubt herself?
Yeah, well, she couldn't really doubt herself because she had no memory.
But even at the beginning...
How do you doubt yourself when you don't know who you are?
Even at the beginning, she was like... Well, when she thought she was just Verse, she didn't doubt herself. But she also wasn't...
Yeah, no, she never doubted herself, because even when she had no clue, she was breaking out the things.
And she was cocky about it, too. Yeah. Like, there was no doubt she was ever going to not win.
Yeah.
Even when she crash lands on Earth and has no real memory of Earth at that point, has no doubt that she's going to, you know... Mm-hmm. And in fact, like, when the cops are like, hey, she's kind of like, don't worry, I got this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And also, like, they cite the fact that, like, both of them are superpowered. Like, they're super powered. Like, Wonder Woman is powerful. But you always got the sense that Wonder Woman could lose to these characters. Whereas Captain Marvel, you never got that sense. It's hard to root for... an overpowered character. So it's funny that Marvel, who will constantly say, well, Superman's a hard character to write because he's so overpowered. Then you got Captain Marvel, who was so overpowered that they had to write in reasons why she wasn't in Endgame as much as she was.
Because they haven't given her a weakness yet.
And they kept saying, well, she's off-world, she's doing this, and that's fine, right? Yeah. But then, you know...
So, yeah, that's only going to go so far.
But... Now, so you have this, like, believe in yourself, even though it doesn't really make sense. Get control of your emotions, even though, again, that doesn't make any sense because she really didn't, you know, or even embracing her emotions, again, didn't really, but how do you expand upon that in Captain Marvel 2? That's where I think the staying power for this billion-dollar movie is going to drop because, like, even Spider-Man Homecoming, like, yeah, sure, the good first chunk is Iron Man Jr. The second he's under that rubble, that's totally Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And now you're getting the sense, like, because this is a kid who, like, they tweak it a bit. He's just not exactly constantly being shit on in life. Like, the Raimi movies do a great job where, within the first 5 minutes of Spider-Man 1, you get a sense of all the main characters, but you're already rooting for Peter Parker because he's getting shit on constantly. Even when he becomes Spider-Man, he's still getting shit on. His life isn't better because he's Spider-Man. In fact, it's worse, but you root for him because you're like, yeah, but he still gets up, he still puts on the suit, he still gets out there every fucking day to save people that could care less at all, whether they love him or hate him, you know what I mean? But he still does it, right? Whereas with Captain Marvel, I mean, it's hard to get behind her in the sense, like in that sense. As a symbol of feminine power, yeah, you can get behind that all day long, and I applaud that. I'm not saying that that's, we don't need that. I want that. I can't tell you how many times I've said, the more diverse characters that we get means that more people will be looking at these products, and they'll be looking at comic books, and they'll be looking at graphic novels, and video games, and t-shirts, and cartoons, and movies, and blah, 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 you know? So that way, like, when I have kids, you know, I can be like I can say, hey, look, I read comic books. Do you want to read comic books? Do you want to check these out? And if they go, yeah, you know, I like Spider-Man, or I like Batman, or I like Wonder Woman, even if it's a boy, I can go, great. great because like that's how I that's part of why I am who I am, right?
Yeah.
That's part of who you are. But and it's so Captain Marvel 2 I think will not make $1 billion because unless they get a better idea of the theme, they don't rush the script. You know what I mean? They don't rush the movie at all. Then it might almost like a do-over for Captain Marvel. Then it might be able to justify it. Black Panther 2, however, that's a clear.
That's a bill.
But what I'm getting at, is that had a clear mission statement in the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's why also I've said Captain Marvel is the weaker of the two movies of the social justice warrior $1 billion franchises, because Black Panther's actually a good movie from start to finish. It suffers a bit of the CGI shit towards the end, which actually kind of took me out of the movie a bit. And yes, Killmonger, or Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of Killmonger, does overshadow Black Panther immensely.
He instantly went to top 3 MCU villains.
It was top 3 villains too. He's immediately up there with Joker.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's Joker. He's right up there.
Yeah.
And
that was such a good performance. Oh wow.
But also clear-cut portrayal of this bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the great part is that he's a bad guy, but you get it. And you kind of can see it, and you can see why other people would go, he's got a fucking point there.
Yeah.
I feel like that one, I know I said before that it won't do $1 billion, but the more I think about it, I feel like if it's more of the original Black Panther and they expand upon it, then there's no reason for it not to do $1 billion.
I think it's going to easily do $1 billion. I don't have a doubt in my mind about that. Captain Marvel's a hard one. I feel like a lot of the reason it made so much money was because it was the lead into Endgame, and people would want to miss something going into the Endgame.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So it's kind of hard to say whether the sequel will.
But I also feel like I said, just to reiterate, if they take their time with the script, get a better idea of the main core theme, then it could very well do $1 billion. At least if it does $1 billion, I won't be I think it's just doing it because of this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Right? Same with Doctor Strange, too. Doctor Strange, if they can expand more on the Doctor Strange that we see in Infinity War and Thor Ragnarok and Endgame, well, more Infinity War, but then I don't know if that'll do $1 billion.
It won't.
But it'll do more than what it did, and I think
Guardians can't even make $1 billion, so I really doubt Doctor Strange would.
Yeah. Although I think Guardians 3 will do $1 billion.
I think right now the MCU has capped out with Endgame. They'll never make $2.7 billion on another movie again.
No, I agree. I agree.
Ever. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Unless Avengers 5 is
somehow the return of Tony Stark or Captain America
or something, but I almost feel like Avengers 5 and 6 will have to be Avengers 3 and 4, where they're parts. They're joined parts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because 5 will do $2 billion, maybe, depending, right? And then, of course, 6 will exceed it based on whatever they do there. But it is a really tough call.
Because if we're leading into Korvac, I'll tell you right now, I don't give a shit about seeing a 2-part Korvac saga. Unless they
do something really fucking cool with Korvac, though.
Oh man, but why? Mephisto would have been awesome.
Mephisto would have been awesome, but I think Mephisto is a tough one to do because of the heaven and hell connotations.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So, yeah.
Because in some instances they'll say he's the devil, and then I think in the last several years they're
King of the Underworld or whatever
they don't call him the devil. They don't call him Satan or anything like that. They'll say his name is Mephistopheles, but Mephisto, and I think they kind of tweaked him so he's a bit more of a cosmic but he's still the Lord of the Underworld type of thing. I mean...
Like, I don't know. I mean, you got Fox now, like, immediately. Like, 2 years ago, they knew they were going to have Fox. They got...
Yeah, like, I mean...
Why would you not be playing towards Galactus?
But the other one...
That is the ultimate...
But maybe, like I said, too, like, I think, like, at this point, we're rambling again. So.
Oh, yeah, Brightburn's in the past.
Yeah, so, like I said in the text message, I almost feel like if you, have, like, a stopgap, so you bring out analysts to be, like, the quote-unquote big bad, but it's leading into Galactus, you know? So it's like, you get people excited about Avengers again because we've got analysts, and you've introduced Fantastic Four, and that'll split off into their own movie, and maybe... I guess maybe the Elementals will touch upon bringing the X-Men in.
Oh, the Eternals.
Oh, the Eternals, sorry.
I don't...
But anyway...
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do the mutants yet. If Mephisto's really from... Not Mephisto. Mysterio is really from an alternate dimension, then... I think we could possibly bring in mutants somehow that way.
We could possibly do it, but then the way they're saying that the reason why he's there is because of the snapping.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, how do you reproduce that without the gauntlet? And are you really going to go through the trouble of getting a gauntlet just to possibly see what other dimensions are? You know what I mean? I like your idea about the end zone being where the Fantastic Four is, and where they have been the entire time.
I thought that'd be really cool.
I think that'd be really cool, because then it also brings Doctor Doom into the MCU, and then...
Because we don't really know what happened in the 90s besides Captain Marvel.
That's right.
Fantastic Four could have been in the 90s.
You know,
like,
it's
they could have been the first super
the next
team.
phase in trying to get their super soldier program under the ground, and you've got this hotshot young team of geniuses
or hell, like,
in a think tank.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if they played it really close to Ultimate Fantastic Four, I think... Like, that would be really smart, you know? Maybe not necessarily so much with Doctor Doom, just because of the way that they did him in Fan-Fourtastic. Because that was fucking the worst. That was the worst depiction of Doom, and I'm also talking about the Roger Corman fucking pantomime Doctor Doom. You know, he didn't do this, but he did do this a lot, and he was like, ugh, you know?
Yeah.
That was garbage. Absolute garbage, even though he looked super cool.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
For a comic book costume, he looked super cool. And, I mean, Doctor Doom, visually from the other two Fantastic Four movies, looked great. You know, it was just a poor direction, and not necessarily a strong script, you know? They kind of did a little bit of an Ultimate thing with him, right? Because he wasn't just stuck in the suit, but he could make the suit.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I
almost feel like it'd be kind of cool if Victor Von Doom, and I'm saying Von Doom, not Van Damme or whatever the fuck the other one was.
Van Damme.
Yeah, Van Damme was Ultimate. Victor Von Doom is the leading scientist trying to rescue Reed Richards, because at that point they're still friendly rivals, and then by bringing them in, that's the accident that causes his facial disfigurement, and for him to retreat back to Latveria, and then become Doom. I think that would be a really cool way to establish both in one shot, and also, like I said, bring out analysts, right? If you don't do analysts, that's fine, but at least now you've got Dr. Doom.
Yep. Who
should be an Omega level threat.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I think these phases, if you got access to Doom and Galactus, like that right there, that's it. Yeah, like, I mean, I know that they're talking about Norman Osborn, but I thought that was a weird one because, like, it's almost like they're assuming that the partnership with Sony and Marvel is going to carry on, so that they'll be able to have Norman Osborn in MCU movies instead of just Spider-Man movies. I think they're just planning on buying Sony within the next 5 years. That's probably... Yeah, maybe after this trilogy rounds up. Just buy everything. Yeah, which they probably would. Because, like, I mean, if we're talking about a window of profitability, Venom
Venom was a surprise hit, but can they sustain that? Can Sony actually sustain that? Because it's not like that script was perfect.
No.
And like totally,
I enjoyed Venom.
I loved Venom. I mean,
but it does have that pre-MCU feel to it at the same time.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
It's one of those, like, you won't know until you know.
Marvel's like pushing Carnage hard in the comics right now. And Woody Harrelson, they just announced today that Woody Harrelson is definitely coming back for Venom 2. Like, Carnage is the villain.
Well, I'm glad that they locked him up for that, though.
Yeah.
Because that would have been one of those, like, well, why the fuck?
Yeah.
Because they talked about him hard, and then you got that lame fucking
When I get out, it's gonna be carnage.
Oh,
so
my
like,
God. As soon as he said it, too, like, as soon as he said it, when I get out, I was like, he's gonna fucking say carnage. And then he does, and you're like, oh. And the worst part is that, like, that was a fucking, like, that was a black humor ride.
Yeah.
But then they ended on that, and you shouldn't have walked out of the theater going, ugh.
Shaking your head, like, ugh.
Rolling your eyes, like, why would you do that? Even though, like,
just, like, his look, that clear as day wig, like, the hair wasn't real. Like, yeah, come on.
Why not get Jesse Eisenberg to try and redeem himself?
Yeah.
To play, like, a twitchy...
See,
Cletus
Eisenberg
Cassidy.
looks like Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson, I mean...
It's the age thing, too, right? Like,
yeah, but it wouldn't even be the age thing. It's just, like, his appearance doesn't look like Cletus Cassidy to me. But whatever.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
I think he'll still be pretty cool.
I think he'll be great. Like, I mean, it's Woody Harrelson. It's not like he's a bad actor by any means. But you're right. Like, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years. I think you're right.
I think the biggest challenge will be making Venom 2 with Carnage PG-13. Because straight out, it's got to be restricted.
No, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be because...
Man. Especially after seeing Brightburn, like, I want to see Carnage cut loose.
I don't, because, like, Venom was PG.
Yeah.
So kids went to see Venom. And the kids that
you're
Venom
right.
are gonna
It was
go
dark.
see.
It was dark, but they didn't show it, right? Like, he was eating people's friggin' heads.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. And they did show him bite down, but they didn't show anything else after that.
Yeah.
You didn't see any blood or anything like that. So I disagree. Like, I mean, and I'm saying, like, as a comic book fan, yeah.
As you say it, I agree with you.
Yeah, because, I mean, at the same time, we're talking about stuff that kids are going to be watching, right?
Yeah.
So, if a kid's watching Brightburn, don't let them watch Brightburn.
Same time, Carnage is a serial killer. Something a kid really shouldn't watch either.
Depends on how much.
Depends on how they play it, yeah.
Because, like, I mean, you could just say, well, he's in jail, so he obviously did something bad. They don't need to expand upon it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is, see, and like I've said before, like, when you get a Venom solo movie, that's kind of a fine line. Because the fact that it was PG, it should have been PG-13.
It was.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I keep saying
it was PG-13.
It should have been PG-13.
Yeah.
And then... But then again, you look at Deadpool.
Yeah. PG is pretty much like...
I was just going to say, like...
I don't even think they make PG.
If we look at Deadpool, then like, Venom should have been an R movie.
Yeah.
Should have been an R movie. And I think it actually would have done better if it was an R movie.
Mm. You
know what I mean? But at the same time, they made their money at PG-13. They are definitely doing Venom 2. And they're trucking along with Morbius.
That they are.
And was it Black Cat?
You know, we'll see how Morbius does first. We already know how Morbius is going to do.
I already have a pretty good... I love Jared Leto.
You'll be lucky if you make Blade numbers with Morbius.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but even then, like, so we're talking about this, and so, like, Marvel, like, officially, like, buys all the Spider-Man characters, like, buys the rights, right? So they have access to all of them. What are they going to do really differently? Like, okay, so you'll definitely not get another Venom movie. There's no way. I mean, I know that...
They won't really do anything besides have access when they do need it.
Yeah, like, I know that Deadpool 3, or whatever that becomes, that's happening. That's literally happening because Disney has no fucking choice to do with that.
Yeah. They're like...
If they had their way...
Look at the bank Deadpool's making. Why would you
If they had their way, Deadpool would not even have had a movie. Like, if they owned X-Men earlier, Deadpool.
Oh, there'd be no Deadpool movie.
No.
There would be no Deadpool
And
movie.
if there was, it would not be what we got. You know? So I think it's going to be one of those where they're going to try to figure out how they can do a third Deadpool movie as close to 1 and 2 without being full on.
Yeah.
But again, like, release it under a different parent company. You know, like, not Buena Vista, but something else, right? Because they have all these other parent companies.
Well, they keep it Fox.
Yeah.
They're going to release 5 movies a year or something under the Fox label, they said.
Okay, so then that's fine.
So Deadpool could stay Fox.
Yeah, do that. Why not? Yeah, but then, yeah, I guess you could. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I guess, especially because at this point, I just want the Spider-Man movies to do really good and get better. You know what I mean? I also want something done with Superman. Like, just give me a good Superman movie. That's all I want.
You'll probably get Supergirl before Superman.
Thought process blows my mind that
DC?
they're like, instead of trying to rehabilitate Superman, which won't be hard.
No.
Will not be hard. They're just gonna do it with Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't have much else to say. Do you have anything else to say? Was there anything else that you had thought of? Because I just thought of something.
No.
That's a good look for you. So I just thought of this right now. The Avengers game.
Yes.
What did you think of the trailer for the Avengers game?
I think right now I'm feeling a lot of early Spider-Man vibes.
Yeah.
Where I'm not liking the look of the characters.
Overall.
But.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
But. I guess it's pretty much just Captain America. I'm not sure about the way Cap looks. But it kind of seems like Cap's going to die in the game early.
Or something.
They show the statue.
Or he just disappears and they think he's dead or something like that. Yeah.
Gameplay looks awesome.
Gameplay looks awesome.
Like, it looks tight. And it's the developers of Tomb Raider and Deus Ex.
Yeah.
So you know it's going to play good.
Yeah, exactly. My immediate thought is it's very interesting, and I'm not sure how they're going to do it, because like even what I've read, it sounds like you start off as one character, and then as you progress, other characters, like you unlock other characters, and then you end up playing like with them, or you can choose to play as them, or continue with your main character, or whatever. Because when I was watching it, I actually got like Injustice vibes, where if you've ever played Injustice, the story mode is constantly jumping between characters, right?
Yeah.
Which I actually thought was really interesting, because I was just like, because I'm so used to starting with one character and then you main him throughout the story, and then that's their story, and then you and then that's it, right? I mean, yeah, you can start with other characters, but they always jump in and around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it almost seemed like you were kind of switching between that and that aspect, but the Cap costume, I don't like.
I don't like the Cap costume.
Because...
he looks like just like this SWAT guy.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
He's got pouches.
And shoulder pads.
Like, big shoulder pads.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to me in the sense
like,
that...
he looks like a normal guy padding up to protect himself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Cap.
Or it's Captain America, like
even the Ultimates Cap had some pouches, but he was still looking like Cap.
Yeah, exactly. So, and especially after, like, coming off of the MCU Cap, which is, like, the costume is one of the best costumes ever.
Yeah.
All of them. They're all great. They're all great. The one that looked like the least amount of protection, like, after Avengers, every other costume looked like there was some level of protection, but it was just enough so that he could still do all the things that Cap would normally do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And then, like in Age of Ultron, it was a little bit more padded, and then you notice almost immediately, like in Civil War, it's right back to Winter Soldier style, and then it's a little bit more form-fitting, but you can see that there's some protection involved, right? Because this guy's not bulletproof.
No.
Right?
No.
He's not knife-proof. No. You get a superpowered guy with a knife, and that knife can, like, actually cut people, you're gonna cut Cap, right? So, but it just looked way too armored. And I don't think it's going to be like Spider-Man in the sense that once we saw it in production, like in the actual gameplay, where we were like, we were fucking dumb. That costume is amazing. Like, it just looks so cool. I don't think that's going to change. If he's in fact alive, or we find that he's alive or whatever. The 5-year jump I didn't like. I didn't like the 5-year jump.
You know what? It looks different, and I'm going to give it credit for that. They could have easily just said, hey, it's an MC based on the MCU.
Or they could have said it's based in and around the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping that it is in the Spider universe.
I don't see why they wouldn't do that.
Because they showed the Avengers Tower in Spider-Man.
Yeah, and they referenced it. Like, you actually get that little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Where he says, I think they might be on the West Coast or something. And you're like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But, so I am excited for that, though. Like, aside from Captain America.
Yeah, I don't...
A little bit with Thor. I wasn't really, like, the discs are too big, I feel.
Yeah, and Iron Man looks a little lanky. Like, I can...
I don't care about the lankiness there. But,
Black Widow kind of a weird, boxy face.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, I mean...
Hawkeye's not there for some reason.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I guess... Because you don't want to, like, show all your cards... The first.
Well, that's the thing. They're gonna have a ton of characters, and they've already said there's gonna be a ton of DLC. It's all gonna be free.
I know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Characters.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And they said like
free DLC.
You'll pay for different skins.
Yeah.
Or different costumes or whatever you want to call it. But I was like, okay, well, I mean that's fine.
Whatever. If I get free characters, then fuck the skins.
Yeah. Like unless I absolutely have to have the skins that I can't unlock by doing certain things and. Maybe I'll kick in some
I will tell you, I'll probably buy the skin for Captain America.
Oh, 100%.
You're going to switch
Can I get any other Captain America costume than this one?
We're going to switch this up real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So I
Wings on the head, I'll take it.
So I'm very intrigued by that. Don't think I have anything else to say except thank you. Thank you for joining us once again for a longer than normal Geek Pants Camcast.
Yeah, well, hey, whatever.
But hey, that's just how it goes.
Haven't touched on it in a while.
So since then, till next time, Ken Levitsky.
Hey.
Chris Mercier.
Right there.
Geek Pants.
Camcast.
We're out.
Bye.
These pancakes are delicious.